the while of me laughing, drinking, say there was something, but you say there was nothing, but you say it with a smile.
Whoa, hey everyone, welcome to the Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. I'm your host, Coach V, and that weird ass furry in the corner is Dr. Dry, and we also have Epaw. Yay! All right, welcome back. I hope you survived the first round of the playoffs. Maybe some of you had a bye this week, and that's fantastic. I know in one of our leagues, the Doc and Peeps were going head to head. So, how was y'all's matchup? How'd that go?
You know, it helps knowing I didn't deserve to be in the playoffs to begin with, and I got lucky. So it helped my understanding and passing of the torch, and just relinquishing my abilities to my far superior opponent there. So that one was easy enough, but I was able to overcome a Thursday night deficit in my other league. I actually have a chance in still. We had this discussion pre snap on Thursday night of having Terry McLaurin, Nico Collins, Justin Jefferson, and Jawan Jennings. Who do you start of those? You got three options, and I opted for Jawan Jennings. He's been on a rager here, 20+ points the past couple weeks. So I'm like, what can go wrong here? Evidently, a lot can go wrong. So he put almost a goose egg for me, and Terry put up another 2 touchdowns. But I was able to survive that thanks to the MVP in the Lions and Bills game. We all know who that is, Jared Goff. Scoring 60+ points, so that saved me in that league, and I'm now advancing to the semifinals in that one league. And Toil Bowl champion, here I come in the other league.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, good game, Peepaw. I know it wasn't your best showing. I know your team's better than that, and they'll come back next year even stronger. So, anyway, but yeah, hats off to the opponent. Now I'm going to go whoop Vince by 50. Not real, not Vinny, other Vince, but but yeah. So anyway, yeah, I went 5-0 in my fantasy matchups. All the playoff games, won them all. No cap, no cap. And so very excited to be moving on to the next round. But here's the crappy part. I'm going against all those like god squads. So going against a lot of one seeds that are rested up, had a bye week. One of them, I'm the one seed, and I'm on a 12-game win streak. So it's a little too hot at the time to, I don't know. It's like you got to win 14 in a row. It's crazy. But a Gibbs owner there, so very excited about the incoming volume. Hope you get better in a couple years, David Montgomery. But anyone who watches both of them knows Gibbs is him. So anyway, we're excited. Very surprised I went 5-0. I was expecting to lose about half of them, as you would. But yeah, very excited. Going against some hard teams this week, and we'll see where it goes. Coach V, how'd you?
Well, I was going to ask Peeps, this is your first time losing in the fantasy playoffs in a dynasty. Does it feel different?
No, because I've already admitted defeat before the week even started. I mean, I was going up against Josh Allen, for crying out loud. He scored over half the points I even got by himself. So it really wasn't. When you set those expectations, temper them. The letdown and hurts a little bit easier, but I kind of had that expectation coming into playoffs and throughout the whole season. But it's not the first year that you always have to win, because obviously teams in Dynasty build it for now, build it for later. So it's going to come and go for everyone at some point.
And now you get a better draft pick. So you have that to look forward to, which I guess you would be. That's a 10-team league. You were you probably have the 5th or 6th pick. So
depending on how next week goes.
Yeah. So you're looking at like potential Travion Henderson, Quinshawn Judkins, Omarion Hampton. Yeah, you'll start getting balls deep in rookie research and get to know your guys. It's really fun. It's whenever you start getting super obsessed. So,
Yeah, that's what's fun about it because the fantasy never ends when you're in Dynasty. So that'll be fun. I went.
and we'll be doing.
I had my bye week and rested all my guys, and I was really supposed to lose. I texted the group. I was like, "This is kind of it. We're gonna lose this week." And then Jared Goff with 5 touchdowns, and the most important touchdown was the Jamison Williams to Jared Goff connection for no reason at all. I mean,
Touchdown.
and yeah, so that really put me over the top. And then so that was an unlikely win. But Mr. Joseph, he gets a chance to play me again in the cheese, so he might get redemption this week. I put him out in the Junkies, which is his league that he created, and maybe he can beat me in the Docs league, who the Docs never went to the playoffs in that league. So
we average 5 wins per year.
Okay, so it's award time, and I think a lot of people, you get really mad once the playoffs start because these guys are fucking you over hard. So our Hillshire Farm cheese and cracker gift basket of disappointment goes to, who do you got?
Hillshire this week is Zach Charbonnet. It was expected to him have a bigger workload, which kind of did, kind of didn't, without the backfield being full for a change. 80% of the snaps, so he was still out there quite a bit. Only 8 rushes for 54 yards and 1 touchdown. 4 targets through there with 1 reception. So really, that 1 touchdown saved him pretty good. If he hadn't had that touchdown, you'd be hurting starting a guy like Charbonnet. He lands in this list because he's a disappointment as far as you expected another probably 5, 6, 7 points out of him for his role he was assuming in that backfield. So he's getting up with the, I don't know, maybe he's a cracker this week. I don't know if he deserves the meat or the cheese. He's kind of gets the crackers for this week.
And it's not because he's kind of a light-skinned guy.
No. We're talking the good old saltines here.
Doc, who is yours?
Love that.
Who's your Hillshire Farm candidate?
So I have really bad internet right now.
I thought maybe it was mine.
So Hillshire Farm, yeah, I don't know. It's like it's coming in and out. So anyway, so I'm kind of hearing half of what y'all are saying. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah. But but yeah, so my Hillshire boys, I would say, and you're not dropping him because he's had a great year, but Derrick Henry, way to shit the bed, bud. But in a Hillshire box. And so just a smack spot. I'm always disappointed. It raises a level of concern, like whenever someone just doesn't go off against a team that they should. So anyway, he might be more of an S to B for the week, but I know we're on Hillshire right now. Late research. So anyway, yeah, Derrick Henry would be my Hillshire boy, but I know he'll be all right.
Can one of y'all remind me who my Hillshire is? Because I'm completely blank.
Yeah, end of the year, man.
You got the Mr. Goose Egg on the Rams.
Oh yes, Cooper. So yeah, that was a butt. That was a butt. Really hard. Like I mean, that's him. And whoa, Cooper Cup and Amari Cooper both put up goose eggs this
Mhm.
week. Holy crap. It's cursed. But yeah, that game just sucked. Yeah, the first that game just sucked. I mean,
Yeah.
what was it, 9-12 or something like that?
I 12. It was something. There were no touchdowns.
I think we
It's
had two 9-12 games as well. If that one was 9-12, I know like
was
Falcons
the
Raiders
Falcons and
nine
yeah.
twelve. There's some
Oh no,
shit.
that was much higher scoring. It was 15-9.
Oh, excuse us. So yeah, I mean, really expecting a lot. I mean, Cooper Cup, since he's come back from his injury, has been just really great. Besides maybe like one outing, and this just really sucked. I didn't watch that game. Was it raining that hard? Was the rain just like, was it sideways rain? I'm not
It
sure
was
what was
the first half, and it was coming down most of the first half, and it was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But I had high expectations for the second half, and then it kept going, and the poor play kept going in the second half, and I was just a disgruntled watcher of that game. They let down our streak of good Thursday night games.
Yeah, that really sucked. So, anyways, Koopa, you're gonna be fine if you got Cooper Cup playing this week, but that really sucked. So let's get even angrier. Oh, I was telling my little sister about the Sleep Number Shit the Bed Award this week because she's the reason that the other Sleep the Bed graphic has stanks, smell like poop in it. And so I said,
Yeah.
once a week, this thing you said when you were like 3 years old gets repeated amongst three guys who are talking about fantasy football. And she was really proud of that. So,
remember.
so yeah, who S the B for y'all this week?
Oh.
We got
You just kept the one guy in.
they almost look happy to be there. I mean,
It's like,
so
and he looks like he's wearing a 49ers shirt.
so my guy this week is Mr. Cheese in the back, William Levi's. I don't think he deserves Levis anymore. If you started Cooper Cup, congratulations, you scored more points than William Levi's did this week.
Oh.
Because he managed to get negative, depends which format you're in, but in one of the leagues I was in, he got -3 and change. So, yeah, it was not a great outing. 47% of snaps obviously got pulled. 12 passing attempts with 8 completions. 75% passing completion rate, so that's pretty dang good. 89 yards, but the 3 interceptions that cost him. 2 rushing attempts with 0 yards, and he was the quarterback, 47 on the week. I'm not sure if you know how many teams played this week, but it wasn't 47, so that's some real skill right there. So for that reason, he's sitting in the back, and I think in honor of him getting benched in probably his last game of his career, unless he's a backup, I think we need to play a good old classic here.
Well, Levis,
Stay
you suck,
tuned
man.
for this message from Duke's Mayonnaise. Hey, Robert! Yeah, Ted? Wanna hear a joke? Yeah. Knock, knock. Who's there? Hellman's. Hellman's who? Hell, man, if it ain't Duke's, I don't want it.
Thanks, Robert and Ted.
Love those guys.
Always a classic. Great supporters from the beginning. So he's my nominee this week, and deservingly so. He's happy to be there.
I mean, Robert and Ted both scored more points than Will Levis. And that's why he's in the bed.
They did. Yep.
And that's also why Dukes is a sponsor of ours and not Stupid Hellman's. Look how he's consumed so much Hellman's. Look how bad he sucks. So I think we all agree. Screw Will Levis. He sucks. I have a couple of gentlemen on here. Najee Harris. Last year he was a playoffs hero. He was taking 5 seeds to championships and winning. Random hero who just came through during the playoffs last year. This year, not so much. He only had about 3.9 points, I think. So Najee Harris, you suck, man. And Debo Samuel, you suck, man. I've never once owned Debo Samuel. Never wanted to. Um, the never. Did you have a question, or do you own him?
I own him.
Couldn't
I
tell.
own him. He really owns me, if we're being honest. But I benched him. I don't know how many weeks straight now. I haven't even considered playing him. It's been several weeks that I have not even considered starting him. So that kind of fits with where he's sitting for this week.
Boy, it's been 7 weeks since you looked at me. Yeah, 8 weeks since you started me. Yeah. So Debo Samuel just, bitching about not getting the ball, and then they get you the ball, and whoa, and you drop it, and you only get 4.9 points, and why are you asking for the ball if you're not going to catch it? You suck, man. Welcome to the bed.
So I just put all the Niners assets minus George Kittle in the bed. I don't know how you could start them in your fantasy playoffs. I don't know how you could start anyone confidently because it's not week 2 and you're just tinkering around. This is like I'm trying to advance. So outside of George Kittle, I don't see how you could start anyone moving forward just because the inconsistency. Brock Purdy might do something this upcoming week. I don't think Debo's turning around. Jawan Jennings, he could go off, but he could also do nothing. So it's just really kind of scary if you're like, okay, so the floor is 0. Like that sucks to think about to put up a 0. I'm fine with starting Pat Freiermuth and my floor is 6. That's okay. My floor is at 0. Also, it's kind of for me. This is kind of like the shit the bed of this iteration of the Niners. I'm pretty sure their window is closed. When you think about like next year, McCaffrey's shown his flaws and he's like really beat up, and maybe he doesn't come back. Debo's really beat up and not looking good. Purdy's okay but inconsistent. So I think their window of opportunities kind of closed on them. So that hell, they might even move on from Kyle Shanahan, which would be not smart. But think about all the like fantasy benefits that the 49ers have given over the years, and to know that maybe this version of the Niners isn't what we're going to have moving forward. People might have to shift their strategies in the draft next year because it's be a different Niners, I think, moving forward. Because unless Brandon Ayuk comes back and he's just great, but a lot of dysfunction, just a lot of like, I don't know, a lot of people that you wouldn't want to hang out with on the weekend.
That's true. Yeah, you come over and they want to play video games, and you guys sit on that bed or something. Or maybe after a night of drinking, they get a little handsy, bring you home, and you have to lay on that thing. But the big turnoff for me with Debo, because I was thinking about being in on him for the first time this year, and then that show Wide Receiver came out, and I swear he was hurt the whole entire series. And some people see that as like, oh, what a badass, he's playing through it. And it's like, well, not really. He's kind of playing half a game, not getting any fantasy points, and then being out the next week, and then coming back the next week. And why would you want that? So anyway, him and Will Levis and Najee Harris and James in his 49er shirt, they can all get it on in the shit bed for all we care.
So our last award, or our second to last award, we're going to pick ourselves up with the McDonald's 11th McNugget. Hey, look at this nice little box here. Oh, hot and fresh. Does it say that? Does the McNugget box say hot and fresh on it?
Absolutely
No,
not.
Oh, okay.
not hot
That's
or
a weird.
fresh.
Yeah, that reminds me of like the hot tasty pizza box. Um,
Yeah. That's
and
like whenever they
so
run out of like their regular boxes and have to borrow from like a generic off brand.
so who was y'all's pleasant surprise this week?
Mine was Devonte Adams. I drafted him in my keeper league. This is the league I'm no longer in contention for. He hit or miss all season, but shockingly, I believe he's still wide receiver one on the season, which is kind of surprising. Um, but he was out this past week, 93% of the snaps, 12 targets, 9 receptions for almost 200 yards with 2 touchdowns, and he is the wide receiver one on the week. So great to see him and Aaron Rodgers getting back on track to kind of similar to what they used to be. And Devontae Adams, the dude, when he was getting away, getting spread from the defenders, and was running with the ball, you could see the old Devontae. You like to see it. It was good to see. If you have him, I'd be starting him in all leagues. Um, he still got it. I know you still have Garrett Wilson there, but Garrett Wilson, I think, maybe in wide receiver one as well. So you got one of those teams that's able to support 2 wide receiver ones. Fantastic. I'd throw him in your starter position if you can, and roll with it.
Yeah. I got a couple of men here, men who almost has much yards as Devontae Adams. Mike Evans, the old man, just keeps on doing it. You look up and blown coverage and he's off for the touchdown. You look again, blown coverage. He's off for the touchdown. He just kept every time you looked over there, he had a catch. So anyway, I think he had like 159 yards or something. And then down there in the little sauce over there, and he doesn't got the juice because that runs out. He's got the sauce. You keep that forever. You got Jalen, Mr. Coke can down there, Coker, just rocking it over 100 yards. I believe he got in the end zone for a touchdown, and so that was a pleasant surprise. And those are my McNugs.
Yeah, I got Tajay Spears, who finally got to have a day this year. Maybe, just maybe, since the Titans are officially giving up on this season. I don't know why they waited this long to give up on this season, but maybe they're finally like, you know what? Let's put Spears in for the rest of the season. Let's see what he's got. He's our future at running back. Let's actually use him. So that's nice. Hopefully, he can be someone you start moving forward. I could see the Titans definitely trying to like get out from under Pollard and Ridley in the offseason and just hitting reset on the whole thing. But Spears will still be there. So dynasty asset for sure. But maybe, just maybe, someone you can start in the playoffs. That would be cool to have Tajay, who we've liked. Like I think we've all like agreed Tajay over Pollard. It's been Pollard most year because they paid him. You got to like start the guy you paid all this money to. So, anyways, that was really nice to see, and I was pleasantly surprised to check that stat line and see 20 plus fantasy points for Tajay Spears. Very happy.
I believe Pollard was injured as well, so that kind of contributed a little bit to that handoff over. Want to go out here and say shout out to all these rookie wide receivers this year. We've got several studs in the league between Coker, as mentioned. I want to say Ladidi McConkey, Lad McConkey out there. Malik Neighbors, obviously, and Marvin Harrison, depending on the week. Great, depending on the week, not so great. But there's several of these rookie wide receivers that are killing it this season, so it's great to see.
Joe would say Marvin Harrison's great every week. Don't you? He loves that guy. So let's get our flex on, and show the ladies what we're all about. And so, who are your flex is of the week?
Um,
DJs everywhere.
I don't know. I'll take the I'll take the Brian Thomas on the left. He looks more jacked than his brother on the right. He I forgot to mention him as part of the rookie wide receiver core. I mean, this dude is an absolute unit. Want to say he's top 10 wide receiver on the season. Kind of a guy that flew under the radar, and once he's making a big splash in the league. So, 88% of the snaps this week, 14 targets from the backup. So, fantastic to see Mac Jones loving him some Brian Thomas. 10 receptions on those 14 targets for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that'll earn him wide receiver 4 on the week. And there's just several weeks this season where he's been able to produce and produce and produce. So great to see for that Jacksonville team. And Mac Jones, keep throwing to your favorite target.
Yeah. And I really like how I like that hairstyle where it's dreads, but it's white boy curly on the top. I think that's a great look. And I think it's fantastic that Pat Fryermuth has just a really big ear coming out the side. Means he's hearing us. He's a listener of the show. Um, he's right there. But yeah, I'll also take BTJ just for fun. I think we wanted 3 of them in here, but I already used mine for BTJ, so I'll let Vinny have the other one. Mine's Jameer Gibbs. It's more of a we knew who he was. More of a plant the flag thing. But I know I'm very excited about just the workload he's going to get. Rest in peace, David Montgomery, but. We all know Gibbs is more talented. We all know Gibbs is better. Just watch him. He's electric. He's so much better than David Montgomery. I know they balance each other out well, but the idea of him getting so many touches makes me want to touch myself. So very excited about him. He's my flex of the week, and wish he had his shirt off there too.
That would assist in the touching of yourself. Did you notice that the left BTJ that he's not even wearing a half shirt? That's like a third shirt. Like
it's like an exposure bra.
A bra would at least cover your nipples. It's just like
a bra.
It's just like the top quarter of his boob that's being covered. Like, why even have anything on? It's basically a shoulder covering.
He just wants to cover his cleavage.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, he rolled up his shirt to show.
Oh, no.
There's a seam there. Someone sewed that. That's the shirt. That's it. So, anyways.
It takes a real dude to pull that off. So kudos to you.
My God, Pat. Expose yourself to Pat Fryermuth. I had to put him on here because this is 3 weeks in a row with a touchdown for Pat Fryermuth. Hey. He's so consistent. He won't get you 20. He may not get you 15, but you can pencil Pat in for a good 7 to 12 fantasy points every week, and he's Mr. Consistent. He has the most consistent hairline of all these guys this week. He matches up the best. That's why we love Pat Fryermuth. That's why we expose ourselves to Pat Fryermuth. It's important.
Is Pat Fryermuth the best Pat in the NFL this year?
Who's the other Pat?
Pat Mahomes.
Oh, yeah. That's easy.
Definitely. Yes.
Easy yes. Let's take it back to what I was talking about earlier. Who would you rather hang out with on the weekend?
Ooh, that guy right there.
Look at that guy.
That man.
He looks like a good bud that could pound some beers at the bar.
Definitely.
He's a guy you want to have fun with.
Yeah. And
he's
got your back.
No one in his neighborhood knows he has money. Like, He wears the same shitty tennis shoes he's been wearing for 6 years.
Wait, is he the Kirk Cousins of the Steelers?
He's the Kirk Cousins of the Steelers, the Kirk Cousins of the tight end game. Like,
Yeah.
he's just, this regular dude who's consistent. He shows up. He's early. Pat Farmer gets everywhere early. He gets there a good 7 to 12 minutes early, just like his fantasy point. He just likes to scope it out, make sure everything's straightened out. He doesn't want any risks. Pat's never caught in traffic. He always checks traffic early and he leaves early. That's Pat Fryer.
Why has he not gotten the key to Pittsburgh yet? My goodness.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a guy who he has an umbrella whenever it rains. He doesn't get caught in the rain without an umbrella. BTJ exposed himself to him twice this week. So
people want to be around him. If you notice, everyone's leaning in toward Pat.
that's true.
He's
What a
magnetic.
Pat's just a little self-conscious about his stomach, and that's why he keeps it around.
It looks like he's wearing his uniform a little bit. Like, it looks like he almost has his pads on. He's always ready to play. Anyways, so waivers. Waivers are getting weird here at the end. Some leagues may not even have waivers open anymore. But if you have waivers open, who are some waiver pickups? A lot of injuries this week.
Yeah, so one of those injuries, I don't know how relevant he's going to be, but Jerome Ford was relevant a little bit earlier this season. Have Nick Chubb injury to wide open that backfield for Ford, and he looked really good in play this past weekend too, so that was encouraging to see. And then Kendre Miller, there's some concerns about Alvin Kamara's status for the game on Monday night, which is terrifying in itself to have a guy that's potentially injured not playing. So if you're looking for a replacement for Kamara, that's going to be the backup right there. And best case scenario, Kamara plays and you don't have to play Kendre Miller. I know in one of my leagues, I'm going to go up against the Kamara owner. So I'm throwing quite a bit of fab onto Kendre Miller in the event that he tries to pick him up as well. And then he gets the next day when he sees who picked up Kendre Miller. So that'll be a satisfying feeling, hopefully. But just want to mention also, this is the time of the season in the playoffs where you are going to try and block your opponent if they have someone they need to pick up due to some of these injuries that Coach just mentioned here. So take a look at who you're playing against and what their team looks like and what waiver pickups you think they'll be targeting.
That's the best that's better than any team defense you'll ever get. Play that defense. Courtesy of P to the paw. Couple guys. Oh, it's good. Touch, field goal. So, yeah, a few guys here, and like, I'm not. Let's see. I'm gonna say it's. I don't know. It's not weird. It's not unique, but it's Brenton Strange. Make sure you pick that guy up if you need a tight end. He's been on an absolute tear this month. I think he scored like 20 points. He's a real target in Jacksonville. Brenton Strange is someone you should get familiar with. It doesn't have to feel strange. Go pick up Brenton. He's an absolute target out there. It's pretty much BTJ and Brenton Strange if you're into that sort of thing. Jerome Ford if you really need a running back. David Montgomery went down, so go get Jahmyr Gibbs off of waivers. But in all seriousness, if you want to pick up, I don't know, like and this is also handcuffing season, so if Jahmyr Gibbs is like all you got, then maybe pick up Craig Reynolds as the handcuff there.
If you're into that kind of stuff, that's kind of nasty. That's kind of nasty if you're in that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
I don't know if I've in the playoffs. That's pretty yuck.
It's nasty. So welcome to the playoffs. Yeah, Craig Reynolds. Simone Viaki is a guy, but I think it's Craig Reynolds would be the direct backup there. Amir Abdullah, if you're into that sort of thing, it's bad. But I got some cool names for my last two. Hollywood Brown, if anyone gave up on him and thought he was maybe out for the year, he's practicing in full. So he could be out there on some waiver wires. Hollywood Brown, and then if you have like nothing at QB, it was just announced tonight that Kirk Cousins will be benched for Michael Penis Jr.
Hey,
So go pick up Penix. He's probably available unless it's a dynasty league. And so yeah, but so a few on there, some of them kind of nasty. But most importantly, pick up Jameer Gibbs off your waiver wire.
So here's a question, Coach, for you. Go. Are you willing to pick up Hollywood Brown and play him this deep in the playoffs? That's a bit terrifying to me.
I mean,
Depends on
Or
what
would
you
you
have.
score him?
yeah, I mean, it just depends on your situation, but also you got to go, is Pat Mahomes playing?
Right.
Who's
If-
throwing the
I
ball? But
think-
Carson is capable. So.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I just always remember how good Hollywood Brown is, how much volume he commanded. Not sure if he does that in Casey. So it is kind of a scary time to try it out. And maybe he's someone that you see how the games are going. I'm not sure what time they kick off, if it's a later one or what, but if you're in between him and someone else, like, and you need like a big shot in the arm and you want to swing for the fences, nothing or all, then, he might be the move. But it is a scary time to do it. He might just be a pickup and stash. And if he kills it, then you have him for championship week, but it really does depend on what you have. So this is scraping it out, like, last guys on your bench kind of guys.
I was going to say Tim Patrick is still available in some leagues, strangely. And he's getting like legit red zone targets now. So there's that. And then also Saquon Barkley was a little weird about talking about his injury, like didn't want to like discuss how injured, the extent of the injury. That Philadelphia has been a little cagey about it. So Kenneth Gainwell looked good in the time he was getting the ball, and we saw the volume. We saw the Eagles want to run first, so you never know. Kenneth Gainwell could win you a championship week 17, which would be crazy.
I will say the thing I do like about the situation for the Lions, the Vikings, and the Eagles, they're all tied for that first place bye in the playoffs at 12-2. So none of those guys are going to let off the gas, and they're going to keep trying to win every single game. So unlike someone like the Texans, for example, they've already wrapped up the division basically. So they have nothing to play for. So some of your guys maybe say, oh, you have a little nagging injury, let's rest you for the playoffs. So I do like anyone that you starting on any of those three teams, really.
Okay, so let's preview next week. Championship semifinals, very important preview matchups. Our first one is Steelers and Ravens. This is their rematch from earlier this year. The Steelers took that one, I believe. Am I right on that? The Steelers took that.
I believe so.
I feel like I got that right. And so, anyways, they always play hard against one another. A lot of fantasy assets going to be running around the field. This is going to be your weird Saturday game. So think of this as Thursday Night Light. The Steelers or the Ravens were so weird last week. Like if you didn't have Lamar or Andrews
Or Justice Hill.
Or
Yeah.
Rashad Bateman.
Did you score any points? Like we expect Andrews and Lamar owners to be happy, but were there Justice Hill owners who were like losing their minds? Like were there Rashad Bateman owners who were like, yeah, I knew it. Like I don't think there were many people with that. So what are you doing? So what are we doing with our Ravens? Are we worried that the Zay Flowers and the Derrick Henrys aren't going to get theirs?
I'm not worried whatsoever. You throw them back out there. It's a 1 week deal. Steelers, in theory, yes, Steelers did win because this was the weird game where the Ravens couldn't do a single thing against the Steelers defense. That was the weird, yes. You are correct on that. So this time around it's in Baltimore, though, I would expect to have a little bit of a different matchup. Obviously, a divisional game; these tend to get a little weird sometimes. But TJ Watt potentially got injured at the end of the Philadelphia game, so there's TBD whether he's going to be playing or not. So that'd be a huge hit to the defense if he does not play. Lamar would be looking his chops, saying, "I get to go play football now without someone breathing down my neck." So I would throw all those guys still back out there, and I don't, I don't know if I am going out and starting Rashad Bateman though. This is inconsistency 101. So that's a bit more terrifying than Hollywood Brown to me personally to start Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, he sucks, man.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think I could see it being a big game for Chris Boswell for sure. So we got to talk about the Bos God. It's good every time. He's been, and he's due for a big game. I think he only had 8 points last week. You expect 20 from him. So, um, hoping for a lot of field goals. I do think Zay Flowers gets back on track. We'll see if George Pickens is one. If he is, he could really light up that Ravens defense. Their secondary sucks ass. Could get out there, do some damage. Um, I think you're benching Najee Harris if you have him. Ended up in that bed for a reason. So, um, yeah, I think the Ravens do play better at home. I think Derrick Henry bounces back. I think you see some of the usual suspects start to bounce back on the Ravens, and Ravens win by 42.
All right, all the
But really,
Ravens
probably like
confident. Our
Chris
second
Boswell game.
is our next. A lot of divisional here at the end of the year, and so Eagles and Commanders, they're going at it for the second time. So this is your noon matchup, your midday matchup on Sunday, and so Saquon, a little worried about his health. They've ran the shit out of him, but for them to like secure home field advantage, they're going to need to continue to play the way they've been playing. They can't like relax. Devontae Smith had a big coming out party last week. That was huge. AJ Brown got back on track last week. And then on the Commander side, much to Peepaw's chagrin, Scary Terry had a really nice week on his bench. And so does Scary Terry get it back together? Brian Robinson, not so much. Not a really great week this past week. How do you feel about the Commanders' offense going up against that vulnerable Steelers or Eagles defense?
I just know I'm cursed. So I'm gonna throw Scary Terry out, and the last time he had a poor performance was this matchup. Knowing my luck, I'm gonna throw that dude out there, and he's gonna score jack squat and goose me, and then you're gonna have Jawan Jennings get 40 plus out there. So it's a lose-lose situation for me, regardless. It's such a curse having a good team. I know. So I debated. I had a hot debate of whether I throw. It's a super flex league, so whether I throw Terry McLaurin in my super flex instead of Bo Nix. Lo and behold, he would have beat Bo Nix by like 4 points.
Yeah.
So that was a little terrifying too. But um, it's both teams are going to be going at it. It's going to be. I think the AJ Brown situation's been fixed. The squeak wheel gets the grease kind of happened with all the complaining. I did see the press conference with Jalen Hurts sat down. The first thing he said to the media was, "So is that what you guys wanted?" And trying to get them. Yeah, we are getting AJ Brown the ball, and Devonta Smith's happy too. So the only problem it looks like was donkey teeth out there taking up space on the field. So, but
Yeah. And Jalen Hurts, he was icy at that press conference.
yes,
He had some diamonds on him. So anyway, looking sexy as hell. Um, could this be a piggy bank game? A surprise piggy bank game?
I
would
don't
like
think so personally. I think the Eagles' defense is too good personally.
Yeah, I know they'd be shutting people down. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. It's hard to put my finger on it. It yeah, it could be a low scoring slugfest slobber knocker, or it could be a wild out of control piggy bank game with touchdowns aplenty. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what to think. I don't really have anybody on either team. Oh, I do have AJ Brown in like some season long. Um, but he's felt underwhelming, but he still gets his at the end of the day. Um, yeah, I don't know what to think. I think what's his name? Oh, Zach Ertz got hurt. I know that. They don't have that guy. Um,
It's a divisional game. It's hard to predict what's going to happen with this one, especially with what happened at that last meeting between the two.
yeah, me no.
All right. So our third matchup is the Rams and Jets. We
Nice.
got the Rams coming off a real shit fest last week. But then also, I think it's very confusing for people because the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson a little bit, they've been playing well. Like Aaron Rodgers has been a startable fantasy quarterback. Devontae Adams obviously having a huge week. So if you're someone out there and you have some Jets assets, are you playing them confidently? What would you suggest to someone who's considering hey, I might throw Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams out there for the stack this week?
I would try that in a super flex. I don't know if I'd try that in one quarterback league. The Devontae Adams, I'm for sure throwing out there again. Garrett Wilson throwing out there. Super flex, I would for sure throw out Aaron Rodgers. My only concern with that is the backfield. So Brees Hall, what's going on there? Kind of some uncertainty. So that's a bit terrifying on as far as the Jet side is concerned. But really, most leagues, it's going to be Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams check out, and Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, and Cooper Kupp redeem himself from last season. Personally, I think that's it. All you're playing from this league, from this game, unless you're into kickers and that sort of thing.
All right, fuck it. Piggy bank game.
Hey.
I think it's happening. I think the Jets they're in fuck it mode. Just throw it out there. Garrett Wilson's out there somewhere. Devontae Adams is everywhere. And then same thing on the Rams side. And that Rams defense can't stop anybody. So the unless it's like a rainy game and it's San Francisco. But other than that, like just 2 weeks ago they were in the piggy bank game of all piggy bank games against the Bills. So maybe they still got some of that. Maybe that's still in them, or maybe Patrick the Porker comes out, gets us all excited, and then before we know it, it's happening. We're just feeling those coins hit the floor behind us. So never know.
Patrick the Porker drop. Nobody was ready for that.
No one knows what that is unless you've been to this place. Oh no, I'm having a bad time. Oh no, take my money.
I need one of those creepy like pig masks
Yeah.
that you wear. It'd be Patrick the Porker.
But he's supposed to look happy, not creepy.
Yeah, that's true.
The kids will still enjoy him.
Yeah. Yeah, he scares the shit out of the parents, but the kids are just laughing the whole time. Like the parents are just getting screwed by Patrick, and coins are flying, and the kids are like, yeah.
Coins are flying from behind, and the kids have their bubble maker hitting you in the front, and it's
more.
Patrick.
I love Patrick the Porker.
Yay.
So good. It's so relatable. Oh gosh. We gotta roll with more Patrick the Porker content.
Yeah, we gotta let the people even know what that is, because that's an inside joke. I think we talked about it off air last time. Everybody's like,
So
"Who's Patrick the Porker? Is that Patrick Mahomes?" Like,
I think the quickest explanation is if you're a parent and you've been somewhere and you're just hemorrhaging money left and right. You turn over here and they want $5 for this. Then you turn over here and they want $7 for that. And over here and your kid's begging you for $9 for this. It starts to feel like you're getting porked. And imagine you were at a Disney-like place or a Great Wolf Lodge-like place, and they have all these characters who are going around. Mickey's walking around, and Sally the Seal's walking around, and they're just having a good time. Well, we thought there should be another character called Patrick the Porker, and he seeks out parents who look vulnerable, who look stressed. They look like they're losing a lot of money. And then Patrick just starts bumping you from behind, and just coins and money just starts flying out of you, because that's what it feels like. And Patrick is just the embodiment of that feeling that parents have. And so yeah, we're working on it. We're getting a costume together. We're getting licensing done. I think Great Wolf is in on it. They want Patrick to be one of the characters. And so coming to a FQF advertisement here soon will probably be a Patrick the Porker ad. Maybe some sort of like Porky Pig situation where it's like yip 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 like that. I could see. But it's in the works. Just be on the lookout for that. So we love Patrick, and be on the
Patrick
lookout.
loves you.
Be careful.
as a parent, I don't, but
As not a parent, I love watching parents who are getting Patrick. I'm like standing there right there with their kids, and I'm like, yeah, like, get them. It's just fun to watch. So. So our last matchup is Vikings and Seahawks. This is your Sunday afternoon game. I don't know if we've previewed the Seahawks all year, so I thought, hell, let's preview the Seahawks. The Vikings aren't such a tear, just scoring. Did y'all see that thing on Sleeper where it was like Tiger Woods and it was like the Lions having the best season of all time, 12-2? And then it was just like this shit show guy, John Daly. And it was like the Vikings going 12-2 in a rebuilding year.
just blowing smoke in his face.
Yeah, I was like, that's such a great embodiment of the situation, because the Vikings shouldn't be here. But
They've got Sam Darnold on top of it too, who wasn't even supposed to be there.
They're going to casually go to the Super Bowl and break everyone's hearts, like, because they don't care. They're just like, yeah, no one wanted this to happen, but it's happening.
Did y'all see their alternate jerseys last night?
The all white.
Yeah, I didn't like them because I think they look too alike their normal white jerseys from afar. Then you get up closer, you're like, I see what they did. Those look good. But afar, I'm like, it's the same thing.
Icy and clean.
The helmets were on fire, though. I like those things. Those are good.
But I do think there's a lot of fantasy here, a lot of fantasy implications here. Also, Sharps. I think Sharps going to get back on track this week. I think they're going to shut Kenneth Walker down until playoffs, if they make the playoffs. So yeah, I think there's something here. What do y'all think?
Interesting you say that too. Seahawks and the Rams are tied for record, so that's for first place in that division. So. Yeah. It's going to be interesting here in the next coming 3 weeks. And once again, that's another team that's not going to let up on anything because they want that divisional win to get in the playoffs. I definitely see the spread, Minnesota -3, pretty accurate probably. Once again, Jordan Addison learned his place last night, thankfully. Justin Jefferson retook that, thrown off it. Starting him as usual. I think it's really all your normal guys out there, and Charbonnet, I would expect him to get back on track. Obviously, the Bears had a tough time running on Vikings defense, but that is DeAndre Swift to a T, so everyone kind of saw that coming. But uh, being in Seattle should help them out a little bit here, and once again, should just be an interesting game. And I still think the Vikings come away with it pretty easy.
Yeah. And Jordan Addison, he's had a good year. I was against Jordan Addison and plus 16 points. So he had 16 and Jordan Addison. I had Bijan Robinson and Justin Jefferson. I really wasn't worried. I told the guy I was worried out of respect for our matchup, but he was like talking shit with Jordan Addison, and I was like, buddy, there's levels to this. Justin Jefferson hasn't even gotten started yet. So anyway, I knew Justin Jefferson was gonna pull through, and then Bijan did his thing. I ended up winning by like 5. So yeah, I mean, I think I and yeah, the Vikings offense is awesome. It's so
Okay.
I've got a real all right start set question here. So
Is this
all
asking
right,
for a friend?
asking for a friend that has the same name as me. So
Naturally. Okay.
um, yeah, that friend. Would you start? And this isn't a league that any of us are in. This is the Wadsworthless Fight Club. I've been trying to win this shit for like 3 years. It's the team with all the receivers and all the pieces, right? So if we have a weak spot, it's quarterback. We've been hovering kind of. I just can't give the keys to Jordan Love. Like it, I just can't do it. He'll give them to he'll let Josh Jacobs take the car for a joyride, and that's no good. So it's Jordan Love or Sam Darnold in this matchup. It's in Seattle. I'm leaning Sam Darnold. Um,
Who did the Packers
and
play?
Green Bay's playing, huh?
Who did the Packers play?
I forget.
Because that's gonna probably depend on.
Oh, they play New Orleans, I think, Monday night,
Oh, I'm
and they
rolling
might
with
need,
Sam Darnold all
huh?
day.
Okay.
Sam Darnold easy in that decision because once again you have the roulette wheel in Green Bay. You don't know who's getting the ball first off, and could be a little bit of anyone, or it could be Josh Jacobs, especially in this game against New Orleans. I think that's going to be a blowout game for him. So I
Yeah.
think Josh Jacobs is going to have heavy workload, and for that reason, I would throw Sam Darnold out there personally if I were
Yeah,
in
I think
your
Green Bay
friends.
is going to get up. They're going to get up on New Orleans and then
Yeah.
just run the ball up their ass. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think I was leaning Darnold just because all of a sudden Jordan Love just doesn't want to throw it anymore. He just wants to give it to Josh Butthole Jacobs, who's having a hell of a year. Like he's so good. Um this
oh,
year.
I hate saying that.
Do what?
I hate hearing that, and I hate saying it.
It
Josh,
yeah, hard to deny. You definitely like. I remember I used to like look at the team that I'm going against, and I see Josh Jacobs, and I'm like, oh, he's not going to do shit. And now it's like, oh, he's going to do all the shits. Um, so yeah, this game in particular, though, I don't know
Hold on,
what's DK
is
Metcalf been
is he
doing.
the reason the bed is stained?
Josh Jacobs from years past.
yeah, the
Yeah, like
memory.
this used to be Josh's bed, but now he wins other awards.
No, that's just inside his basement. All right, what was your question?
D.
Um, yeah, what's going on with DK Metcalf? He's someone that like he's one of those where it's like you drafted him so high and he's been good for so long, but all of a sudden he kind of sucks. Like we mentioned
Yeah,
that guy, or we rolling with him?
Is
I
he?
don't. I don't think he's turning it around. Like he has been
Yeah,
consistently down all year. JSN's your play. That's really it.
It's JSN's team at this point. I mean,
that's
um,
wild. I'd
it
written him
he
off
was
last
he
year.
had 3 targets this past week. You
That's no
can't touch
good.
that. Who else do you have to start over him, or who are you considering?
Good question. Let's see. DK. All right, so this is in the Dick Perry tribute. I'm trying to four-peat this league. Um, so, but I'm going against the top team. All right, so what I'm currently starting is AJ Brown and Garrett Wilson and DK Metcalf, and Jonnu Smith. So 2 of those are flexes. I'll start Brian Thomas.
Yep.
Oh,
Easy.
Yeah,
there you go.
perfect.
Is it
and
a
he's going
PPR?
against Las Vegas.
If it's full PPR, I would start
Yep.
BTJ.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think he was on the I don't know why he was on my bench. Anyway, I won, so whatever. But yeah, so BTJ will be going into the lineup for DK Metcalf, and Jonnu Smith can stay out there.
Nice. Okay, so welcome
Aaron,
to
Aaron Jones too. Aaron Jones. He's been on a tear lately. I think you're really excited if you're having him, picking him up and starting him. So yeah, I would see that continuing against the Seahawks.
I agree with that. I like seeing Aaron
Right.
Jones used properly and not share work with some shitty backup like he did in Green Bay for all those years. So
Like Ty Chandler, who won me a championship last year.
weird.
Yeah, one of those random players that like there's a few players on that list who have won me championships over the years. We got Ty Chandler, Deshaun Hamilton from the Denver Broncos. There's some weird ones on there.
Remember when Billy Volek won people fantasy championships?
Yeah, was it him and Drew Bennett went on an absolute tear during the playoffs? Like
Yeah.
I've never seen 2 white men do that since Matthew Stafford and Puka Nakua. But other than that, yeah, Billy Volek and Drew Bennett. Yeah, that was wild.
So you never know. Like, keep working the waivers, keep putting people on your team because there might be someone who you're like, oh my God, I'm starting Billy Volek in my fantasy championship. But you just do it because that's whatever it takes to win. This is fantasy. This is what we do. We have no loyalty to anybody. We will hate you tomorrow and we'll love you the day after that. That's just how it is in this world. So
Go get a ring.
keep fighting the good fight. Keep plugging away in your playoff adventures. Hopefully, FQF has more success next week. We got a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of chances to win here. So you know what? We'll get our final championship number at the end of the season, and we'll report back how many champions are in the group here. So anyway, yeah.
Housekeeping note. So Tuesday falls on Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. We're probably not going to be at the same time, maybe not even the same day, but we'll coordinate those schedules, and we'll let our 2 viewers know when we're going to be.
Just call them and say, we're doing the podcast.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll probably end up doing matinees. That works out better for everyone anyway.
Okay, so don't forget to do 5 crucial things on the way out the door. You need to live, laugh, love, like, and subscribe. 5th quarter fantasy.
Oh.